We believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Tonight, we bring India and Sri Lanka together through the lens of hospitality. Two cultures, deeply connected, and now shaping one of the most compelling luxury narratives in the world. We're somewhere joined at our hip. Are you both, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening and welcome to this episode of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM shows in the season 4. Today is the last show of the day and last show of the week. And for me, this is an extremely special episode that I'm doing. And I love doing it like I love doing all the other shows. Since this is my first one in Sri Lanka, for Sri Lanka, and for Sri Lankans and Sri Lankan hospitality and tourism, I take great pride in doing this. Now, this season comes at a defining moment for hospitality. Our theme, India at a hospitality inflection point, redefining excellence across every stage segment. And today we extend the conversation to a destination that is both strategically important and emotionally connected to India, Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka today offers something truly rare, a compact yet incredibly diverse destination that delivers value luxury, ultra luxury, heritage, nature, and contemporary experiences, and all within one island. For Indian travelers, the largest inbound segment there, the connection runs even deeper. Shared culture, cuisine, language comfort, spiritual circuits like the Ramayana Trail and the Temple of the Sacred Tooth Relic, seamless connectivity, and a strong sense of familiarity. Be it food, be it cricket, be it the Isle nation, we've known it all. So the big question we explore today, how is Sri Lanka delivering extraordinary luxury while remaining one of the most competitive destinations globally? And what does this mean both for Indian and global travelers? Before I go further, permit me to introduce the stars on the show tonight. First of the blocks is Kamal Munasinghe. He's the Vice President, Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, and also the General Manager for the Cinnamon Life City of Dreams, Colombo. Welcome to the show, Kamal.
Good evening, everyone, and I'm Boan from Colombo, Sri Lanka. Bhuvanesh, thank you for having me at the show. Very excited.
Thank you so much. And let me correct your designation. It's Senior Vice President, happens when you do so many shows.
Correct.
Next one in is my good friend Keenan McKenzie, who's the Area Manager, Sri Lanka for ITC Hotels and also the General Manager of the rather well-appointed ITC Ratnadipa, Colombo. Welcome to the show, Keenan.
Hi, Bhuvan, everyone, and Mr. Khanna. Thank you for having me here. It's always a joy to be here. And I'm glad that I get, I'm always glad to get an opportunity to be here and share opinions and ideas with all the viewership. So glad to be here, sir.
Thank you. Really appreciate your being here. Next one is my friend of years, Samrat Datta, who's the Area Director, Taj, Sri Lanka and Maldives, and also the General Manager for the Taj Samudra, Colombo. Hello, Samrat.
Hello, Bhuvanesh. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me and giving me this opportunity of sharing these thoughts with my friends and also with the rest of the world in India and other places, talking about Sri Lanka, which is a place we love very dearly. And Taj has had a footprint over the years with 3 beautiful properties, Taj Samudra and one in Bentota, and the beautiful Taj Bentota, and also one in the next to the airport, We call it the Vivanta Airport Garden.
Lovely, lovely. Next in is the latest Indian export to Sri Lanka, Piyush Tyagi, who's the general manager of the Marriott in Weligama. Welcome to the show, Piyush.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here, and thank you so much for this opportunity, Mr. Khanna.
Such a pleasure having you here, Piyush. Thank you. Suresh Abbas, he heads Sri Lanka's oldest hotel. He's the general manager of the Golf Face Hotel Colombo. Welcome to the show, Suresh.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna. It's a real pleasure to be part of this show. I'm a great fan of your show. And also it's nice to be speaking to the Indian hoteliers. We are all hospitalitarians. We look up to India, and it's a great privilege and an honor to be part of your show.
The honor is ours, and thank you so much for your kind words. Next in is Manesh Fernando, who's the area general manager Sri Lanka for Hilton and is based out of Colombo. Welcome to the show, Manesh.
Thank you, Bhuvi. Delighted to be on the show, and hi to my fellow GMs on the show, plus around India. Thank you.
Thank you, Manesh. Last but not the least, Ajantha Perera, who's the general manager of the Jetwing Colombo 7, formerly the Lagoon. Welcome to the show, Ajantha.
Hi, everyone, Mr. Khanna. Thank you for inviting Jetwing on your show. We are delighted to be on your show, and I want to everybody in India.
All right. So, just look at the hotels they head. Look at their backgrounds. Look at the amazingly classy assets that each one of them lords over. You cannot even imagine. Look at the Ratnadipa. Look at the City of Dreams. It's called the City of Dreams. It's mammoth. Both these hotels are mammoth. Look at what Manesh lords over. Look at the Golf Face. 1864, Suresh. Is that right?
Yes, we are the fourth oldest hotel in Asia, 14th in the world. We are the oldest hotel from the East Suez Canal. Just to tell the audience what is Suez Canal, and in the war days, it was divided between the East and the West. So all the way going towards Egypt, we are one of the oldest hospitality historians.
What an introduction. Tell me a bit about Samudra, Samrat.
So Samudra has actually completed its 42 year. We are running 42 years in Sri Lanka, of course, in the heart of Colombo, in the central viewpoint of the Indian Ocean on the Golf Face Road, and that's about Samudra. And so 42 years with 300 rooms property, fabulously appointed banqueting spaces with a large marquee that can go up to 1,500 people. And obviously, and a 180-degree view, Samudra Ballroom, which is right on top. And of course, some fabulous restaurants, which is featuring Japanese, Indian, Chinese, and all day dining restaurant, etc. So this is a very coveted restaurant of Colombo, and like I said, we also have the Taj Bentota and Vivanta. Bentota is nestled in the beautiful, pristine beach of Bentota, which is just 1.5 hour, 90 minutes drive from Colombo.
All right, thank you so much, Samrat. Piyush, your hotel looks stunning, and I've done 3 nights over there years ago. Well, yeah, a bit about that.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. So yeah, I mean it's a beautifully placed hotel, right at Weligama Bay. So you can see the background. It gives a bird eye view of the bay. Part of Marriott International. Proud to say that we have 4 hotels in very exotic locations in Sri Lanka. We've got Sheraton Resort in Kozhikode. We've got a Sheraton in Colombo. And we've got a courtyard in city center in Colombo. So it's a great collection of hotels in Sri Lanka.
All right, lovely. Thank you so much, Piyush. Ajantha, Jetwings.
Yeah, so Mr. Khanna, Jetwing Hotels is a family-owned Sri Lankan hospitality brand which was founded in 1973. It has 38 unique properties now, including wellness and Ayurvedic. It's categorized into luxury reserve, premium hotels, select and essentials. So Jetwing Colombo 7 is one of their flagship hotels located in the city with a resort touch and a wellness touch in it.
All right. Thank you so much. Hilton has 3.
Hilton has 4, Bhuvi.
Oh,
So we got
yeah.
2 in the city. One, obviously, where I sit in the Hilton Colombo. It's 40 years old. And we've got a long stay hotel, which is the Hilton Residences. Then we've got one on the lake, deep down Sri Lanka, close to in the middle of all the national parks. And then a Hilton, a very high-end Hilton, right inside the park, actually. So we got 2 resorts and 2 city hotels.
All right.
At the
Lovely.
moment. Yeah.
Kamal, I want you to talk about Cinnamon and City of Dreams. You're muted. You're muted, Kamal.
Sorry about that. Cinnamon is a homegrown brand. Is the largest hospitality group in Sri Lanka. We've been doing business going back into the 70s, but Cinnamon as a brand came into life about 20 years ago with our own Cinnamon Grand in Colombo. We have 4 hotels in Colombo with City of Dreams together. City of Dreams is an integrated resort. It's the largest and the first integrated resort in this part of the world in Asia. We have 2 hotels within the building. We have 12 food and beverage outlets, 5 ballrooms looking into the Indian Ocean, entertainment center, shopping, 2 blocks of apartment buildings, and office complex. So it's a fully integrated resort in the city of Colombo, right in the center.
Overall keys, 700?
We have 687 in Cinnamon Life, and we have 113 at Noah on top.
And overall banquet size of?
We can hold up to about 5,000 people at any given time within the 6 locations we have.
And what an amazing view. Now, let me just walk across to your neighbor, the newest kid on the block. Keenan, tell us about this gem.
Well, I wish we were the newest kid on the block, but Kamal is actually that.
Kamal is actually that.
So I'm the second youngest over here.
All
That
right.
being said, this April we'll be completing 2 years of operating.
Touch wood.
As this is the first venture of ITC Hotels outside India when it comes to hotels, and I think this is probably one of the best moves and ever made. Where better to start when you start your international journey other than with Sri Lanka. So that being said, we're a 352 key hotel. Got huge banqueting space of 15,000 square feet. We come here with a legacy of ITC Hotels behind us, and also the signature cuisines of ITC, which we have brought here along with the Peshawari, the Yijing, and the Avartan, 3 signature restaurants, which are signature brands in India. Apart from that, to add to the local flavor, we do have Islander. We come with 3 bars, a complete destination package, be it for MICE, be it for relaxation stays, and just like a small way of being India away from India. So we bring that with a Sri Lankan lens. So glad to be here and look forward to this.
Thank you. Sri Lanka has to be on top of the bucket list for Indians. It's 3 hours from the farthest and 45 minutes from the nearest, or visit half an hour from the nearest, right? Maybe Trivandrum or somewhere, and less than an hour's flight from Chennai, Bangalore, or wherever you are. And it's so pristinely beautiful. There's a lot of discipline. It's clean, great food, even for a vegetarian like me, right? I never feel at a loss of food or discomforted. Now, let me truly get the show going and get it rolling. But let me also tell you what Ayubovan means. Like we greet each other with a namaste. In Sri Lanka, we greet each other with Ayubovan, which says, may you live, which means may you live long. And it's a hello, it's a welcome, it's a farewell, right? So Ayubovan, get used to it. Ayubovan, gentlemen, let me get rolling with the first question to you, Kamal. Um, Now, you briefly spoke about your hotel. You had a mammoth hotel, nearly 700 rooms, 13 rooms short of 700. That's a huge inventory in one location with massive banqueting and all within an integrated complex in downtown, heart of Colombo, overseeing the Galle sea face. Tell us, with the large farmers development and integrated destinations like yours coming up, the scale of ambition is clearly rising. Kamal, is Sri Lanka ready to compete with the world's top luxury destinations?
Maybe thank you for that question. Now, I think, Sri Lanka is not just starting from zero, right? I mean, if you look at the history of tourism for Sri Lanka, we have come a long way. We have fought 30 years of war, and then, we have come out of that. And then in 2018, we had the highest number of tourist arrivals to Sri Lanka. And of course, the Indians topped up the arrivals. And then going into 2025, we actually beat the number of 2018 arrivals. And we had more than 500,000 Indians arriving to Sri Lanka. So that's a huge number of Indians that came to Sri Lanka. Then this year, we are targeting about 600,000 tourist arrivals from India alone. So, which is a really good outlook for us. And the first 2 months of the year, we exceeded more than 550,000 tourists coming to the island, which is also surpassing our numbers that we forecasted. So is Sri Lanka ready? Yes, but we have some work to do. But in terms of when you come to product, natural assets, beaches, wildlife, culture, talent in the hospitality, strategic location in Asia, when to combine all that, Sri Lanka is ready to welcome any and every tourist. When it comes to product, Colombo alone with Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, we have 4 hotels. We own about 25% of the inventory in Colombo. Overall, put together, we have the largest convention center between 3 hotels. And City of Dreams alone, we have the largest convention center, which we were not able to hold before. If you look at the recent past, we have had to forego maybe some of the big conferences happening in Sri Lanka, but City of Dreams coming into picture, we've been able to now manage big conferences. One of the big ones coming in May, which is bringing in 3,000 attendees to Sri Lanka from the 3rd to the 15th of May, driving multiple hotels occupancies, convention center occupancies, and food and beverage. So when you look at that, I think Sri Lanka is ready. We have the product. We have every aspect of the tourism, providing the services that you need to position ourselves as a global contender for tourism. And going beyond that, if you look at, again, going back to the City of Dreams in Sri Lanka, Cinnamon Life, when we build this product, for actually to be the gateway to Sri Lanka, right? And with that, having the largest number of rooms here and the largest number of restaurants, if you look at the offerings that we give for the Indian travelers specifically, we have a couple of Indian chefs working with us. The focus on developing Indian experiences in our hotels has been always a key area. We are also offering multiple culinary experiences within the city, within our hotels, and not only within our hotels. If you look at all our colleagues who are represented here, I think Sri Lanka has the perfect infrastructure to drive tourism to Colombo, and also going beyond out of Colombo, going into the mountains, going into the wildlife areas, going into the beaches. I think we have the perfect setting here in Sri Lanka.
Tell me, how long did it take for you to build this hotel?
Fill the hotel?
Yeah, build the hotel.
Oh, it took a little longer than a normal project because we started this in 2013, but we had a little bit, couple of hurdles along the way. We had, 2019, some trouble in Sri Lanka, then we hit COVID, then we had the economic crisis. But after all, in 2024, in October, in August, we launched the hotel, and then integrated resort was opened last year in August. For the opening, we had Hrithik Roshan here, showcasing it to the Indian
Yes.
community.
Yeah.
So we had a great opening there, and we are celebrating our first year as an integrated resort in the month of August this year now.
Awesome. And at the recent World Cup, you hosted a whole lot of teams.
Absolutely. So, ramping up this hotel with 700 or 687 rooms is not an easy task. But we had a strategic approach in terms of positioning the hotel and also bringing in the right type of tourists to Sri Lanka and also to City of Dreams, and also establishing the right rate in the market. Looking back over the last four months, starting from December, we have seen really good growth in occupancies as well as driving the rates. In the month of February, with World Cup coming to Sri Lanka, we hosted 7 teams at City of Dreams throughout the tournament until the semifinals or until the Super 8s. And that was a great experience. We had, entire city was occupied with visitors from all over the world, mainly from India, but we also had Barmy Army staying with us because the England tour was staying with us as well. And Barmy Army extended their stay going towards over the World Cup season as well. So it was a very busy season. We had all the great players staying with us, indulging into the hospitality of Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, enjoying all the culinary experiences and other wellness experiences that we have to offer here.
Mr. Khanna, you're on mute, I think so.
So you presented a damn good account for the brand and hotel that you represent, and I've had the privilege of staying there recently, and it's completely enthralling. And so I think people must head to Sri Lanka soon and savor the goodness of the country and their hospitality and your brand. Keenan, my next one's saved for you. Tell me, I've seen the grandeurs of the Ratnadipa. Has it finally opened its gates to what is in India away from India? And what an amazing giant of a hotel you have there on the golf face. First of all, congratulations. Indian hospitality brands bring a deeply rooted philosophy of luxury shaped by culture and sustainability. Keenan, how does Indian luxury thinking translate into Sri Lanka's hospitality experience, landscape, and taste buds, if I was to say so?
Well, it's been 2 years since the opening of ITC Ratnadipa. ITC Hotels, luxury has never been just about scale and opulence. It's about responsibility, it's about authenticity and a sense of place. What we've sought in Sri Lanka through ITC Ratnadipa is simply not India away from India, but it's rather an interpretation of Indian hospitality philosophy through a Sri Lankan lens. The ITC philosophy is deeply rooted in what we call responsible luxury, where world-class experiences are delivered with equal commitment of environmental responsibility and community well-being. This translates seamlessly into Sri Lanka, a country that already values nature, heritage, and a warmth in hospitality. Culturally, there is a natural alignment between India and Sri Lanka, is what I believe in our traditions, our reverence for guests, and our storytelling. At ITC Ratnadipa, we are consciously embraced Sri Lankan art, cuisine, local narratives, ensuring that ITC Hotel is deeply connected, are rooted to the soil philosophy. So we've long been a champion of sustainability, and we carry that philosophy into every aspect of the ITC Ratnadipa experience. Wherein it's the building architecture or the day-to-day operations, we are committed to making a positive impact. As we know, expectation has evolved. Global travelers are today seeking meaning. And when I say global travelers, not just Indians, it's from people from across the world. They want authenticity, they want cultural immersion, they want mindful experiences. ITC Ratnadipa delivers on this by combining the richness of Indian hospitality with the soul of Sri Lanka, creating something that truly feels both familiar as well as entirely new. So, if I were to sum up my answer for you, Mr. Khanna, it would be that in many ways, ITC Ratnadipa isn't just India in Sri Lanka, it's a shared philosophy of hospitality reimagined for this destination. That's what ITC Hotels is trying to interpret and bring about whilst in Sri Lanka, sir.
So you were home to the Indian cricket team at the recent World Cup. Tell us more.
Well, what more can I add? A billion plus following and the team staying here. Well, I've had the privilege of hosting the Indian team in Ahmedabad also, be it for the
I remember that.
India-Pakistan and the India-Australia final. One to be remembered, one to be forgotten. Well, the one we had in ITC Ratnadipa was definitely one to be remembered for the ages. Uh, the kind of atmosphere which I felt here in Colombo, I think comparable, if not better, with the kind of following that we saw in Ahmedabad. And the same fan fervor, the same demand, I'm sure all of us during that time would have benefited from the India-Pakistan match happening here. You're looking at great demand, high ADRs, and the works. So having them here was indeed a privilege, and now I think they can think of us as their lucky hotel in Sri Lanka.
Touch wood. And yes, a great advertisement for your brand to be viewed. All right, Samrat, your hotel was the first one that I ever stayed in Sri Lanka, right? It's always been there as far as I know. And Golface may be older, but Samudra was my first home. Tell me, Sri Lanka today straddles multiple luxury narratives, from accessible indulgence to refined exclusivity. Let me begin with you, Samrat. Where does Sri Lanka truly sit today between value luxury and ultra luxury? And also tell me the Taj story.
Well, that's a lovely question. Thank you, Bhuvi. Just to talk about luxury, of course, as you know, it's a very evolving subject, and it's also relative in terms of its perception, interpretation. It's relative in terms of people, space, time, destination, etc. But when you ask about Sri Lanka position between when you say value luxury and ultra luxury, I would say Sri Lanka is very beautifully positioned in a very balanced luxury format. To understand that, I would say understand the country in itself. Beautiful Emerald Isle, as we call it, not very large, but a compact journey which can take a guest or take a traveler from the pristine beaches to the mountains with lush greenery and tea gardens. It can take you from the Ramayana trails to the Pico trails, the safaris to wellness journeys. So the options are so many, and within a few hours of a drive through some really really beautiful infrastructure, great greenery all around you. So luxury in Sri Lanka cannot be compared with many other places where it might be opulent, it might be large scale, it might be ostentatious. Sri Lanka is not like that. It's more in its experiential journey. It's more about culture driven. It's more about people, interactions, and it beautifully gels with, I think, our what we call our service philosophy, the Tajness. You know it well. We have been in this business for a really long time in the Indian subcontinent, and also been one of the first movers in Sri Lanka, like you mentioned, and and have always had the belief in Sri Lanka being one of the most potential destinations in terms of tourism. So Tajness is actually rooted in intuitive service, in strong sense of place, emotional connection, and that is what our meaning of luxury is, right? And if you just compare it with what Sri Lanka stands for, all of these things apply to Sri Lanka as well. So it's a beautiful entwined journey. After all, India and Sri Lanka are called the cultural cousins. There is not much of a difference in terms of relating with people is concerned. But when it comes to experiences, for an Indian traveler, Sri Lanka can be one of the best, international destination to travel to for the pristineness of its experiences, for the beauty of the nature, for all these things that they can do within a short haul. It can be 4 days to 7 days, and if they have a longer holiday, even 10 days, but everything can be curated. Indian travelers also have a wide range now. I mean, and so you can cater to the religious circuit, the spiritual traveler, the traveler who's coming for adventure, the traveler who's coming for just pure leisure. And if I talk about Uber luxury, also in this country, we are coming up with various pockets of Uber luxury. Some really, really high-end, destinations are evolving from the jungle trails, and let it be a bespoke, maybe culinary journey, wellness retreats. And if you, I mean, talking about IHCL or our brands, we also, our offering is such that it's very, very wide ranged. All right. So in Taj Samudra, for example, we have the Tata suite, which is the most opulent suite that you can get. And we also have a large number of categories of rooms, so various categories, catering to a wide segment. And so yes, like I said, it is a country that is deep rooted in experiences, and it is going to be loved by any Indian traveler, and the numbers are increasing. It's great to see. But I see a huge, huge opportunity of the numbers growing, and enough reasons why people should come here. And as Taj, we are also networking through our huge networking channels in India, the sales force that works all over India, and our network is so strong. We want more and more people to come and experience that whole range. I mean, we have got MICE travelers, we have got luxury, Uber luxury travelers, and we are ready to cater to everyone, and the whole of Sri Lanka is ready to cater to them. So yeah, I think to answer your question, I think it's a beautifully poised place, which is balanced luxury. And if you have to choose between the two, I would say the more tilt is towards value luxury, and that is where the bigger chunk, bigger numbers will come from.
But I've seen yes, I agree with you, but I've seen a widespread of guest classes who are making it their home. Maybe it may be the silver club, which are the elders, right? Or the first-time travelers, and some of the discerning guests, right? I've also seen some of the properties being promoted in India from Sri Lanka for Indians to make it their home. So all in all, and the good thing is that the two governments are fairly aligned with each other, right? So that makes it, and the visa convenience and the convenience of a great currency rate, right? And the food. So all in all, it's a great package. And I'm sure gradually, once the youngsters and the happening generation make it their destination, Sri Lanka will gradually start scaling up the pecking order.
So Bhuvanesh, I just resonate your thoughts actually, because like I said, having a very deep rooted cultural connect between the two countries, for an Indian, person, it's a lot easier to adapt in a climate like this, in an environment like this. There's a huge number of Indian people who have made Sri Lanka their homes. We have actually a forum called the India CEO Forum, which is the country heads of various companies of India who live here. Many of them live for years, and it's a lovely country to live in. So yes, of course, and like I said, we resonate the culture, we resonate the thought processes in many ways. Bilateral relationship is also working very well. Connectivity will play a big role. So overall, yes, a best place probably to reside nearby India.
All in all, it augurs so well for both the countries. Lovely.
Yes.
So let me build upon that, Samrat, and walk across to Piyush. Piyush, what a bay you sit in. And you had such a wonderful Marriott asset in the picturesque Weligama. And I've had the pleasure of staying there for 3 nights. Leisure and resort destinations are redefining what modern luxury looks like. And Weligama with Marriott there has it all. Piyush, how is Sri Lanka reshaping luxury and beach and resort experiences? You've not been there too long, maybe 4 or 5 months?
I've been here quite some time, Mr. Khanna. It's been a while.
So good. So let's hear it from you, because you're sitting there, and we can see that great picture. Tell me.
Great. So since most of the GMs are based in Colombo, I'm the one who's based down south in this beautiful bay called Weligama Bay. It's in the southernmost tip of the island. It's very beautiful. You can make out from my background. You could actually walk into the ocean 70, 80 meters. You could walk into the ocean and you would still have a knee-high depth. Also, there's a barefoot experience, which is very nice. The sand is very soft. It's a great experience to walk barefoot. To my understanding, actually, luxury in Sri Lanka is about meaningful, immersive, and deep-rooted experiences of culture and nature, because we're very close to nature, no matter where you are in Sri Lanka. And so I would also take this opportunity to also let the viewers know about so many experiences which the resorts can offer, and especially Marriott and Weligama in the southern part of the island. So we have surfing. So this is a very popular surfing spot across the globe. So we have guests coming from across the world who come here to learn surfing. So as I mentioned, 70 to 80 meters, you could walk into the bay. So when you surf, especially when you're learning, so you don't really get hurt. And we have guests from small kids who come with small surfboards to, pro surfers, everybody coming here for surfing. There's also whale watching, which is a very unique experience, just 10 minutes from Weligama, which is also great. So people come here for whale watching experience. Besides that, there's much more which this place offers. So there's snorkeling, which is in Mirisa, which is just 10 minutes from the resort. There are sunset cruises which people can indulge in. There's a beautiful rainforest, which is just 1.5 hours from here, which is in Deniaya. In fact, it's again a wonderful experience for anybody who's traveling to the island. In fact, we boast about clean air. We talk about a fantastic AQI. So this rainforest is actually the ecological engine which ensures that we all have a single-digit AQI no matter where we are in Sri Lanka. So Yala wildlife is again exciting. So people could still stay in Weligama and do a wildlife safari from here. There are various hatcheries all across, which is again a fabulous experience to get involved in. Then we have Galle Fort, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is also just about 40-45 minutes from the property. And things like white tea factory visit and so on. It's like I can go on and on what our guest can actually indulge in. So besides all these experiences, we also look at curating hyper local experiences for FIT traveler. So things like engaging with local artisans when guests are staying on property. Things like seafood market rituals on Weligama Beach. Also on property, we have curated some very small spaces which are very, very niche and it's excellent from a luxury dining perspective. And, we've named these small spaces, from the historical names of the island. which is Taprobane, Ceylon, Serendip, Tambapani. These are some, fantastic names which relates to history of the island and very unique spaces where people can dine. Other aspect, what we offer here is personalization. So, at Marriott and Weligama, it's all about personalization. So we have this very interesting program here. It's called True Blue Host Program. So we've got some young boys and girls who are part of this program. So it's not really a typical butler kind of a program. This is more dynamic, wherein these boys and girls get connected to multiple guests, not just one guest, and they are actually trained to do much more. So they could check in, check out, they could actually make a nice cocktail in the lounge. They could actually accompany the guest for the breakfast experience, be at a hopper station. They can make fantastic hoppers for breakfast. They could even make the bed. They could even do a turn down service. So this is again, and they also help us in upselling, especially when it comes to luxury dining while the guests are on property. Besides that, I know, Mr. Khanna, you're vegetarian. So I'm sure there are many vegetarian guests who happen to travel from India. So we have a very unique USP. We have a vegetarian kitchen on property. So this is something, nothing like, you're outside India and you have your own food cooked in a very sattvic space. So that's something which is very unique for us. And as I said, I could keep going on and on, but that's more about what we typically do in our resort for creating guest experiences.
For all the Indian guests, if you're wondering what a hopper is, hopper is the Sri Lankan equivalent of the Indian appam, right? So if you're a non-vegetarian, they'll toss in your egg over there, your seafood, and let me tell you, people line up to savor that. So you've also got an equivalent of the idiyappam there. So yeah, great food. I've savored it all there. Thank you so much, Piyush, for giving a great account for your hotel offerings and the Weligama. All right, Suresh, what do I say about your hotel? You've said it all. You're quintessentially Lankan. Tell me, few destinations carry heritage as elegantly and authentically as Sri Lanka, and your hotel is as iconic gets.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna.
Tell me what role does heritage play in Sri Lanka's luxury narrative, and also tell us a bit about your hotel and its heritage and location.
Thank you. This is my fifth heritage hotel in my career, second in Sri Lanka. Just to give you a little bit of a trivia of the Gold Face Hotel, as I mentioned, we are the fourth oldest hotel and the furthest from the East Suez Canal. Yesterday, I had a book, and for all my viewers, 1,001 things to do before you die is to visit Gold Face and have a sundowner at sunset. So that is 1,001 times. Apart from that, we've had many royalty who had lived and have walked around our corridors. The Colombo Accord was signed at the Gold Face. Queen Victoria's Golden Jubilee in 1915 was in our hotel. Every Commonwealth country had a resting area. Sri Lanka had one, and that was at the Gold Face. We still do have that preserved. We had a artist, a painter. He did not have $3. He did a painting in a wall, and then he became famous. He's a Russian painter called Safronov. This painting is there. We had a late Prince Philip when he was positioned in Sri Lanka, even before Her Majesty he got married and became king and queen. In 1940, he bought a car for $12, and that is sitting in a museum. We also have the two cars in 1954 when Her Majesty came to Sri Lanka, a 1950 Cadillac, which also has air condition and radio, is sitting in the hotel, as so as Sir Mountbatten, So Mountbatten's war headquarters was also one of our sister properties in Kandy, which is a World Heritage Site. That's the Swiss Hotel. Also, we do have another property in Kandy, which was a Second World War hospital, which is called the Queen's Hotel, just a walking distance to the Temple of the Tooth. And I think the heritage story, the heritage tour of Sri Lanka has very less spoken about. I mean, you drive another two hours to the hill capital of Nuwara, where you have this beautiful property called the Grand Hotel, 130 years old. We also have one of the oldest golf courses in Nuwara called the Golf Club. We also have the Hunters Club, which is now called the Hill Club. Also, another property which St. Andrews runs. They're all heritage properties, the old castles. Sri Lanka has over 400 registered waterfalls. And we have the highest density of the highest waterfalls, which all our tourists can watch that for free. If you go into certain other countries, I believe you have to pay and you have to stay in the queue. Whereas in Sri Lanka, you go. I think Sri Lanka is not an island; it's a continent. You can see the largest blue whale in the morning. You can see the wild elephants in the afternoon. You can also see plenty of waterfalls and also see leopards. The second largest leopard density is in the south, in Yala, but also the only mountain leopards you can find, again, in a World Heritage Site is in Nuwara, in Horton Plains. I mean, the adventure you have with the Peko Trail, which is one of the longest Peko trails, which also helps the local community. It's a 300-kilometer walk under 23 exit points, as well as many cycling and mountain climbing. I mean, Sri Lanka is an adventure. We have abundance of seafood available. Besides the two properties which we have in Kandy and the Gold Face Hotel, we also have 17 hotel corporation guest houses, which were also very much given to us from the old yesteryears of what we have, the location of it, the service of it, and the type of food we serve is second to none. In Goldface, our mantra is our team. I think our team brings us the soul. The longest serving employee which we have has got 60 years of standing in front of the door. So 60 years of employment he has given. His colleague, sadly, who passed away, had 62 years and he missed the Guinness World Record by 1 year. Kuttan.
Oh my God.
Kuttan came from Kerala with zero. And he made a living. I mean,
what was his name? Kuttan?
Kuttan. We call him Kuttan. He was a waiter, and then he worked up his ranks. But he was very mischievous. So the owner said, "With your personality, we should put you in the front door to welcome people." And that's where he flourished. And he was carrying every single badge in his jacket where he had met people. He was very passionate, and sadly, he passed away. But the people who work at the Goldface are the soul. They bring the life. We are a very popular wedding venue. I have met people who have the fourth generation, and we do celebrate a lot of 50 years of wedding anniversary to get married at the iconic Goldface checkerboard.
That's a lot. Talking about heritage, that's a lot said. Thank you so much, Suresh. That's a lot about Goldface. Thank you for the account. Now, if I was to walk across to you, Manesh. As somebody who heads the Hilton portfolio for Sri Lanka, tell me, global brands often bring both credibility and consistency to emerging luxury markets. Manesh, as someone who's heading Hilton in Sri Lanka, like I said, how do international brands elevate Sri Lanka's premium positioning?
Thank you, Bhuvi. And I'm listening to all my colleagues speak, and my hair is raising, including you. Okay. You guys are all amazing. And how does Hilton elevate the brand? I think at the most basic level, we've been in Colombo for 40 years. I don't think there's any one of these hotels which runs without someone from this hotel who has learned the especially the Sri Lankans, right? I mean, Suresh has been working here, Ajantha has been working here. And if you look in all the hotels in which are my colleagues, there must be a Hilton Colombo person there. And Hilton, it's part of our philosophy to grow the younger generations, and it's our travel with purpose goals, and we've done it for the last 40 years. So we have been like the hospitality university, like the Taj and Oberoi in India. What it's been Hilton who's been developing people for the last 40 years. So in the most basic level, I think the human resource, which makes everything come alive, Hilton has given a lot to this country. As a global brand with 9,100 hotels, the level of exposure in terms of our distribution systems and the marketing which happens because of our network effect, I mean, it's a extremely common, a very obvious impact where we appear all around the world. So in terms of Hilton, I think adding value to Sri Lanka, we of course have had challenges in the last 3 to 4 years where the country had to face challenges. Otherwise, we would have been much more bigger. So there are some more projects to come along. There is about 3 to 4 more hotels, some hotels have been built halfway and not been completed. So once we complete them, we hope to cover most of the areas which Piyush, Suresh, and Samrat, they were all talking about, to cover the whole trail, including what you were saying, Bhuvi, in terms of Kandy, the hill country, the beaches, right? So Hilton will do its part, just like my colleagues. They are also really promoting Sri Lanka. I'm really proud about Cinnamon and Jetwing, the Taj, the Golf Face, all of you guys, ITC. I mean, we together, we are, I think, lifting the profile in terms of doing our best or trying to exceed in terms of competition, in competing with our neighboring countries and lifting the whole image of the country. Thank you. Hope I managed to.
Manish, what I must tell you all is that there is room for everybody. There's room for every brand. There's no inter-brand and intra-brand competition. There is room for Maldives. There's room for Sri Lanka. There's room for India. The global travelers are our own.
Correct. So Bhuvi,
somewhere we people can move together.
Correct. And I fully agree with you. And I was listening to Samrat talking about how Indians have come over here and made it home over here. And then I heard about you saying we were the cultural cousins of Indians, right? And I want to go one more step further. I always wondered, I've served your prime minister, I think 5 times over the last 10 years, right? Prime Minister Modi, okay? And I always thought you guys have a status called NRI, right? Non-resident Indian. I mean, where do you think we came from? We should have come over from across India, right? So the majority race comes mainly from Odisha, right? The Sinhalese, okay? Then later on, there were Sinhalese who came from Kerala, right? So we were the last batch to come from Kerala, okay? Then in Jaffna, we had from the southern part of India, from Tamil Nadu, right? So we are a real microcosm of India, out of India, right? So we are your closest relatives out of India. Okay, so you guys shouldn't forget that.
No, never forget that. I never forget that. And that is when I began. I said, I love Sri Lanka. I love Sri Lankans. You're my family away from home. Thank you so much, Ajantha. Thank you for that input. That was extremely valuable.
Please, Manesh.
Now, last but not the least, Ajantha Perera. Ajantha, this is your question. The last one before we break into round two after a short 20-second break. Jetwings is an amazing local Lankan hospitality major. And it has truly carved a niche for itself in Sri Lanka. And today's luxury traveler increasingly seeks authenticity over opulence. I hope you get the question. I'm not running down anybody, but I'm positioning this as an opportunity. Ajantha, is authentic local experience now the real definition of luxury? And why don't you let us know a bit about Jetwings?
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. So you are very correct, actually. Authentic, barefoot, local experience is now the new definition of luxury. Jetwing Hotels, like I said, is a family-owned Sri Lankan hospitality brand which was founded in 1973. We have 38 unique properties plus in Sri Lanka, and it's diverse into luxury, premium, select, and essential. So giving a range of hotels to different type of travelers based on their budget, their expectations, and the value that they require. Now, Jetwing is known across the island. It's renowned for blending authentic Sri Lankan hospitality with sustainable, eco-friendly practices and architectural design. So every hotel architecture blends with the local area, the environment. So hotel to hotel differs. Like you said, we get all our guests to deeply engage with Sri Lankan culture because that is basically luxury now. Through direct participation in daily life, not just being passive observers as tourists, but experiencing the local traditions, the language, the food, the custom, basically getting them to live as a local when they come. Again, with sustainability, one of the key factors now everywhere. Now, Jetwing Hotels have been the pioneer of sustainable tourism in Sri Lanka, guided for over 5 decades by the philosophy of the founder. At that time, 5 decades ago, he just had the philosophy: hospitality cannot exist isolated from the local community and the environment. And throughout, that is what all the Jetwing hotels, including Jetwing Colombo 7, that has been doing. We have in building up the local communities and protecting the environments. Now, with these hyped up words of sustainability, Jetwing also went back and we've selected 6 pillars from the UN goals like climate action, resource efficiency, heritage stewardship, thriving community, empowered family, and impact sourcing. So for example, like climate action, most of our hotels would run on solar system, including Jetwing Colombo 7. We would have in some hotel biomass boilers that would energize the hotel. How we get this, as I said, this barefoot luxury and this authenticity to commemorate with culture and sustainability. For example, we had the US government's aid arm who recognized Jetwing for all its sustainability actions, and they partnered with us to introduce the electric tuk-tuks to the hotel. So they basically invested in electric tuk-tuks. So what happens is tuk-tuks in Sri Lanka are one of the famous transport methods which the locals use. So when international travelers come to Sri Lanka, they want to live that life of a local, not just travel in air-conditioned vehicle. So what we've done is we do city tours, we do their transport in this electric tuk-tuk. So while they travel as a local, they are also proud that they are helping the environment by traveling in electricity tuk-tuks and not just gasoline vehicles. How we differentiate the luxury here is we treat all our guests as family. We create that homely environment, personal, local, authentic experiences that we provide, creating that wellness and joyful moments, like my colleague just mentioned, creating those emotional connections, as Piyush mentioned. We treat them not as guests, but as family. Now, the philosophy of our current chairman and managing director is show love and care to the guests. We not only do that to our guests, but as Manesh mentioned, we also do that to our associates. And in return, the associates do that to our guests. This helps, as Suresh said about the 60-year-old, this helps us retain our staff because we show that love and care and treat them as family. And also, since they do that to the guests, we are able to have repeat guests, repeat clients, not people just arrive for one time, but they arrive there, they experience this local, barefoot, authentic luxury, and then they go back and they come back again for more. And this way, some guests also keep extending. They stay for longer, not just a few nights, but longer. So that's how we have built on these.
Amazing. Amazing. So, gentlemen, I'll take a short 20-second break and then I'll circle back and begin with Kamal.
All right.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
You know what? I've had an amazing session. This is truly immersive. You don't even know what you guys sit upon, what you head, what you drive, and what you deliver. I seriously would not be able to do your 24/7 job, because I call these 24/7 a 24/7 industry. Kamal, for all of you now, going forward, we have 28 minutes to close. So do we agree we do our next responses within about 3 minutes each?
Sure.
How does that?
Yes. Sounds
all right,
good.
do we all agree? So you have to time it all yourself. Kamal, in a competitive global landscape, value often becomes a defining differentiator. Is value Sri Lanka's biggest competitive advantage today? And if I was, we've discussed this, Kamal, we have to go beyond just value. While it is a competitive advantage, we have to put in the building blocks to step up the value chain.
Yes, absolutely. I think, when we talk about value, Bhuvi, I highly believe that Sri Lanka offers something truly special, especially if you look at for Indian travelers. Because, if you look at what we offer, value in Sri Lanka is not just about price, because it's never about price, I think, for a traveler. It's all about the whole journey from the moment you land into the island and the offerings that we have, the beaches, the rainforest, the wildlife, the ocean adventures, the heritage sites, and incredible food, the cultural diversity. That's the experience that you come for, and all within a very short flight, right? And you get a premium experience that are really very accessible, and that also that combination is very, very rare. And when it comes to City of Dreams, Colombo, our hub, the entertainment hub, it's an urban playground for everyone who is visiting the country. Curated dining experiences, lifestyle experiences, all designed and complement the hotel stay. So guests don't just get a room, but they come here for an integrated experience and a complete experience in Colombo. So when it goes beyond that, for the Indian traveler, this means convenience, the diversity of luxury, and in one trip you can achieve all that. And where else can you achieve this kind of experience, or where else can you have this kind of experience? Just a very short trip away from India, coming to Sri Lanka, like you mentioned earlier, just as far as 3 hours away or from 30 minutes away from India. And within the matter of couple of hours, you can get to any of those sites I mentioned earlier within Sri Lanka. And with a very short holiday, you can have all these experiences when you come to Colombo or Sri Lanka. So, we are building Colombo as a hub for tourism, and Indian travelers are playing a key part of that journey. I think when we look at, I can't stop talking about what we have done here in Colombo over the last 3 to 4 years, and how the whole infrastructure has developed to entertain and cater to the traveler is amazing. When you come to Colombo now, if you have not come to Colombo over the last 4 or 5 years, if you come today, you will see a completely different skyscrapers. And you have a beach, man-made beach, right next to our hotels. You can just enjoy the beach right there. You don't have to go too far. The entertainment has been really, redesigned in the city. The F&B offerings have really been enhanced. So, all in all, when you look at this, Sri Lanka is ready, Colombo is ready, and I think at Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts, we have hotels in strategic locations to give you that experience. And I invite all of you to come and experience Colombo, experience Sri Lanka, and experience Cinnamon Hotels and Resorts.
Kamal, it took me barely 30 seconds to file my visa application and less than an hour to get my visa.
Right. That's
Right?
how it is.
And that is how it is. It is so simple. You're a Hindu, you have enough to go on pilgrimage. You're a Christian, you have some of the finest churches to go visit, right? You're a Buddhist. This is the most beautiful country. And let me tell you, there is a direct flight between Colombo and Bodh Gaya, right? And for the Muslims, there's a lot. So Sri Lanka is so multicultural. It has everything for everybody and clean. When you're driving on the road, if you're going to cross the road, they will stop the traffic, let you cross. They will not change lanes, and you can breathe easy. Like my good friend was saying, the AQI is in single digits. So get your lungs cleaned, get your food, get the best food that you're looking for. And if you're a cricket fan, you have some of the finest cricket stadiums and games, and no better stadium than the Galle Cricket Stadium to watch a game when the high tide almost touches and kisses the stadium. All right, so great. All in all, and of course, if you're a shopper, you get your VAT refunds at the airport. So what more do you want? All right, Keenan. Yeah, Keenan, you've now got great experience there. And having been with ITC, my next question angles to that. Tell me, sustainability is no longer optional. It is becoming central to luxury positioning, and ITC hotels are known for their F&B extravaganza. Tell me, can sustainability become Sri Lanka's strongest luxury differentiator and throws us some nuggets? Throw us some nuggets about your F&B play with sustainability in mind. I've sampled it all. I've savored it all. Tell us.
Well, sir, definitely sustainability is not just an add-on anymore. It is, and it's not a passing trend, and it's only going to grow. I mean, I have an 8-year-old at home who is very, very conscious of how she is and how she goes about her things. So I can only see this trend growing and not coming. So, and for me, coming from the pedigree of ITC hotels, it is becoming the very definition of modern luxury. In fact, Modern travelers, I think, often appreciate the mindful approach to luxury and responsible hospitality. I believe Sri Lanka has a unique advantage here. Its biodiversity, local sourcing ecosystems, strong cultural respect for nature allows sustainability to actually be lived, not just constructed. This gives the destination, Sri Lanka as a destination, a powerful edge in appealing to the conscious global traveler. F&B, in the F&B segment for ITC hotels, as well as with the responsible luxury where indulgence and sustainability coexist seamlessly. We strongly focus on local sourcing, working with local suppliers and producers. And at the same time, our culinary experts also take a lot of that into producing what they produce. I mean, being an island destination with a lot of import happening, uh, you have to look at something that is sustainable and doable day on day. So how you integrate that into the menus that you compose, especially Sri Lanka for me, big buffet lovers. So how our chefs get the maximum from local ingredients, and it gives them a chance to play with it and put it out there. That's something which is really worked on. So uh, when it comes to water, ITC, as you know, we follow the Shunya Aqua. All the bottled water in the hotel is done in-house. There's no plastic involved. Uh, Beverages, not only food. Uh, it's about creating memorable cocktails, I say, with using local beverages, and that's something which we are really pushing at our bars and really appreciate it. So there's a lot that is to offer here. There's a rich ingredient list, as I would say, or a rich beverage list. All that can really be put forward and used to attract the global clientele who come and value locally sourced ingredients and beverages. So I think there's a strong play that Sri Lanka has in this segment, sir.
The Sri Lanka obviously is a very conscious country, and one can see on how they savor the values of their country. And more than anything else, you can get the best fresh produce over here.
Yes.
So you don't have to import, you don't have to go long distances, and absolutely clean environment. So all in all, a good situation to be in. Samrat, my next one is for you. Indian outbound travel is growing rapidly, as we've been discussing over the last 1 hour and 15 minutes, with luxury travelers seeking both familiarity and discovery. Samrat, what more must Sri Lanka do to win the Indian luxury traveler? Because the Indian luxury traveler is the biggest spender. You ask Japan, you ask Thailand, you ask Vietnam, Laos, the Middle East, the Far East, they are all sitting with their arms open to welcome the Indian luxury traveler. What is the jadoo that Sri Lanka must do?
That's a very good question. Bhuvanesh, I also look after Maldives, so I also know how, and India has been a great market for Maldives for a long time. Why I mentioned Maldives is because we know what the luxury market of India is and what the ability that market has and how valuable that market is, which I think the entire world is now recognizing. Now, if we talk about Sri Lanka, the outbound market, the outbound tourists out of India, you will see that Sri Lanka is getting probably 1.8%, 1.6 to 1.8% of the share of that market comes to Sri Lanka. And that itself is 23% of Sri Lankan overall tourists. So if that goes up by another 1%, imagine the numbers that it is producing for the country. So it's just a simple math.
Yeah.
It's a simple math. So,
yes.
And there is humongous potential, like I said, and I think my colleagues, Kamal and Keenan touched upon the sustainability part. Kamal is talking about our readiness as a country. And I must also tell you, I mean, when I meet my guests every day, and mostly in Samudra, there are mostly Indians. They come for conferences. Some of them come for the first time. Some of them come for a holiday. they just can't stop praising the cleanliness, the pristineness, the beauty, like you all spoke about. But until you come here, you don't believe it, that being so close to India, what a beautiful, pristine country. How green, how luscious the green can be, how clear the skies can be, how clean the oceans are or the water bodies are, etc., etc. And even the infrastructure. I mean, the connecting roads and are so good and well maintained, and everything is just neat and clean and not overcrowded. So, which is a huge thing for the Indian clientele. I think first of all, what we need to do in order to put it in the minds of people that Sri Lanka is the destination, which I think we are doing a very fine job in the last 3 years, at least I've seen a huge, move of the needle, if I may say, is that we should tell the story right. All right. This is a story that we need to talk about Sri Lanka. We need to talk about how beautiful Sri Lanka is. We need to talk about how easy it is. Like you said, the visa is easy. Walk in through this one. And I must also tell you, the immigration counters over here, I mean, it's the smoothest move, from end to end. You hardly spend much time over here. There's no traffic. I mean, coming out of the airport, coming to the hotels, it's just an easy ride. It's never like, you're stuck in a traffic jam or whatever. Talk about this ease of convenience of travel, number one. Number two, connectivity will obviously play a very important role. I think in all the forums that we go, we talk about not just the metro cities. I mean, India is growing in A's and B's and C cities, and there are loads of cities that can be connected directly to Colombo. And I'm very glad to also tell you that, very recently Ahmedabad has got, there's been many forums I've been talking about it, that Ahmedabad should be connected. And now we have a direct flight from Ahmedabad. There are additional flights from Delhi, which has been announced. And then, of course, there are places like Jaipur, like Calcutta. There is many other cities in India which can be connected directly. Maybe not daily flights, but twice a week or whatever. And those are opportunities. I think the other thing that we also need to understand is that India market is so evolved, like the tourist market, and there are many, many layers. So please understand there is a multi-generation family holiday segment. Some are interested in spiritual journeys, can go to the Ramayana trail. That is one sector. Then there is experiential couples that are coming to celebrate their honeymoon or their anniversaries or whatever. Then, of course, wellness seekers are coming, high-end, wellness seekers wanting, experiences. Taj Bentoda, for example, we have this J Wellness Circle. I mean, people come there, spend weeks, going through all those various experiences. And Sri Lanka is obviously famous for its Ayurveda and all that. And there is obviously another segment, the big segment in India, which is we have a conferences segment and the wedding segment. Now, this is actually one of the best places to do your weddings as well. And that is something that...
And affordable.
And affordable. And everything that you can do in India is almost all possible out here. So if you look at all these angles, if you tell the story right, the Ramayana Trail story, for example, was very well said recently in a beautiful comic strip format. When things are told in a saleable and very easily understandable format, I think that is something we should do. Looking at the multiple layers, which I just mentioned about, if you attract these multiple layers and play a different stroke for every layer, I mean, your selling Sri Lanka should be done in various formats for these various segments. Each segment is a big segment. And also you have to push people from India to to come again and again. Because like I mentioned in the previous question, that Sri Lanka provides an array of experiences. Now, you should not come here, and you are a short haul market, you come for 4-5 days holiday. Once you come, enjoy the, maybe the Peko trails and maybe the jungle safaris. Next time you come, enjoy the beaches. Next time you come, you enjoy the tea trails. So you can actually get the same person coming again and again. And the place has such lovely people and lovely environment that once you come, like you're saying it yourself, that I will keep coming back. So it happens to almost everybody who comes once they fall in love. So tell the story right, reach out to the right customer, and use brands like us, like IHCL, but we have got this humongous, base in India, which we are constantly pushing. It's our top management is constantly, driving this place for our own business and making sure that our hotels are full, and that thereby we are also doing a service towards the overall, the tourism of Sri Lanka. So I guess I've answered your question.
Message is responsible commerce, right? You enjoy responsibility, and we create responsible commerce. While I was there, I met with Kamal and Keenan, and I was telling them, you have to be at the right mediums to carry your message through to your target audience, which is meeting those focus groups in person, right? And also going through the digital medium. And whatever are your target audiences, go in that media. All right, so super. Thank you. That was very valuable. Gentlemen, we have now 10 minutes to closure. Oh God, it's 9. And we have 4 questions. So we have to do it in under 2.5 minutes, or maybe 2.25 minutes. Sorry for that. Piyush, your go. So tell me, luxury today is being redefined by evolving guest expectations and experiences. How are luxury guest expectations changing today? You see it every day, coming from where you have in Jaipur to now in another wonderful location.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Great question. So, yeah, I know we are tight on time, so I'll try to quickly make it as crisp as possible. So, yeah, luxury is no longer a standardized cookie cutter kind of a thing. It's deeply individual. It brings a lot of passion. So everybody has talked so much about the country, and I myself living here feel fortunate because it's a very beautiful island, and I feel luxury is all around Sri Lanka. Wherever you look, it's luxury, and with a value attached to it, which it's not so expensive, so that makes Sri Lanka so very unique. So at Weligama, we kind of initiate programs which bring this very element of luxury in practically everything that we do. So we have some very interesting, unique programs on property. So we've got a program called Sound of the Ocean program. So we are a hotel which is just bang at the ocean front. We're not really far away. So our lobby music is typically very, very low. We don't play it loud. We want guests, the moment they come out of the vehicle, the first thing they get to hear is the sound of the ocean. We've got a rival beautiful peacock dance. It's a silent peacock dance with a background of live flute. And we offer some locally done, fresh, floral infused welcome drinks. We've got activated spaces on property where guests can actually just sit quiet, enjoy the sound of the Indian Ocean. We have in-room activation, so morning wake-up tea, which kind of rejuvenates them. We have got an evening tea program, which kind of supports a sound sleep. We have in-room self-meditation guide, wherein guests can actually just go through that process and just do a self-meditation while they are maybe sitting in the balcony, enjoying the view of the bay, and do a self-meditation. So this is a very interesting program, what we do. A lot of our luxury travelers, they appreciate this. They want to actively participate in it and experience it. Other than that, we've got a 365 Shades of Sun program. So living here for years, I ensure that I don't miss a single sunrise. So this talks about, various activities from morning sunrise, which is so beautiful. Every single day of the year, you have a new shade in the sky, and same goes for the sunset as well. So we've got early morning activation, which is like meditations by the ocean, yoga sessions. Evenings, we've got sunset Tai Chi session at the rooftop. We've got seafood rituals. We've got sunset cocktails. We've got cultural dances. So they all kind of give a different feel while the guests are here at the southern coast. We also have another interesting program called Water Escape Program. So this particular program revolves around the water element in and around Weligama. So, from surfing, snorkeling, stilt fisherman experience, boat cruises, beach dinners, so this whole thing makes stay pretty exciting. Other than that, of course, travelers coming here want to experience, the local touch. So there's a lot of local immersion in terms of cuisine, in terms of heritage storytelling, culturally rooted design, and various experiences which we offer. Other than that, it's human connection, which actually is very, very critical and core of the luxury hospitality.
We've got a little over 4 minutes to close and 3 more questions.
Perfect. Last line. So it's all about personalization. So that actually makes a huge difference. Thank you.
Thanks a pile, my friend. Sorry for that. I owe you one. All right, Suresh, paucity of time. You'll have to double up. Tell me, Sri Lanka's heritage is rich, but global storytelling can still evolve further. My question is, how can Sri Lanka better showcase its heritage to the world?
Yeah, I'll keep it short. Sri Lanka's heritage is incredibly rich. The opportunity now is for us to present it with a greater intention and a global resonance. First, we must package and position ourselves correctly. The storytelling needs to be told. We should take this to our drivers, guides, and get them to start storytelling, making sure that our guests become fans, and then for them to go back and tell the story. I think Sri Lanka's heritage is extremely rich. We didn't even touch about the cultural triangle, the northern part of it. But anyway, I'll leave it to the next person to
the recovery of Sri Lanka after the hassle that had happened. I don't even want to put a word to that, but the recovery has been amazing, and that opens your east and north, which are truly virgin and beautiful.
After 2010, we had another economy completely opening with the surfing community coming in from Australia. So from May onwards, in the East Coast, it's the destination.
And hospitality and Sri Lanka are all about stories. So there's so much to carry back, and that positive word of mouth is what we want for Sri Lanka. Thank you, Suresh. Sorry, I've been a little rushed. You won't hold that against me.
Not at all.
Manesh, tell me, no destination succeeds without strong industry collaboration. How important is collaboration across brands to build Sri Lanka as a destination?
I'm going to keep it very short. If you look at this forum today, if it was only Suresh's hotel, which is the oldest one, is going to present it, I think it'll be pretty one-dimensional, right? So I'm super proud about Kamal's hotel, Keenan's hotel, Suresh's hotel, Weligama Marriott, Jetwing.
What amazing spirit, man.
That is the jadoo. You said jadoo, right? Which means magic, right? That's the magic for us to succeed. Thank you.
Together we succeed, and separated we shall fall. I think we need to hold hands, and we need to plow our way ahead.
100%.
All right. And let me tell you, one of the hands that's holding your hands is mine.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Ajantha, I'm back to you. Sorry for the rush. Tell me, as the island evolves, its next chapter will be defined by clarity of vision. Ajantha, what will define Sri Lanka's hospitality future?
So Bhuvanesh, thank you again. So Sri Lanka's hospitality and tourism, the future would be centered on positioning the island as Asia's greenest, most sustainable and high-valued destination. We will have to focus on ecotourism, wellness, which is very popular, and our unique cultural experiences. The travelers that will come are the travelers who value responsible tourism with meaningful cultural experiences. That will be our basically competitive advantage also against the others. As you know, we have the sun, the beaches, the misty estates, the hidden waterfalls. With all these in mind, we offer this intimate, barefoot, authentic luxury to the travelers. So the vision, again, just to summarize, because we are in a rush, the future would be anchored on sustainable and inclusive tourism, protecting the natural and cultural assets with ensuring the communities across our island are directly benefited.
I think it's got to be an amalgamation of all the packages together. And in that, wellness is huge.
True,
right?
very true.
We can't ignore one for the other. We have
Exactly.
to have a complete basket of offerings, right? Wellness, sports, pilgrimage, water sports, right?
True.
And all of it, heritage. You've got it all, culture, right? So what have you? Sri Lanka is so virgin, it is not yet discovered, right? It's somewhat like the West Indies, which needs to be and right next to you. So you don't even have to fly too far. So that brings me to the end of the show. But I'm sorry for the last 3 or 4 questions we'd had to rush. I owe you a lot more than a drink when I'm there next. But you shall give me that budget to gather you together. So let me have a rapid sign off with you all in just 1 or 2 words, max 3. Sri Lanka's biggest hospitality advantage is Kamal.
Our offerings.
Come again?
Our offerings.
Oh, lovely. Keenan?
Sustainability.
Lovely. Samrat?
Diversity across the length and breadth.
I love you. Next time I want a woman general manager here. And let me tell you, we'll keep doing this show again and again. And we'll have more. We'll have more episodes. Piyush?
Experiential travel.
Okay. That suits you. Suresh?
Legacy, timeless luxury, convenience.
Oh, perfect. Manesh?
Something for everyone.
Man. You're a smart lad, huh? Ajantha?
I would say authentic local experiences.
Agree completely. I mean, the local experiences are so much. Look at the artifacts
Sure.
and your Dutch heritage. And I mean, it's amazing, all those archaeological buildings. So if I was to sum up today's show as the host and moderator, this is how I would sum up. Kamal has highlighted scale and global competitiveness through what they have created in the City of Dreams. Keenan brought in responsible luxury and sustainability. Samrat defined Sri Lanka's balance between value and luxury. And last but not the least, he also spoke about diversity. Piyush spoke about experiential leisure. Suresh reminded of us about heritage being a strength. Manesh emphasized brand trust, and Ajantha anchored it all in authenticity, local authenticity. And there's so much of story. Wish I could have extend this show a little longer, but I must close. My sincere thanks to all my fellow colleagues on the show. They've been exceptional. And what an amazing discussion I've had. This is the discussion of my life. I've been doing the GM show for over 4 years, and I have loved doing this. I love you all. And also, with your permission, I must thank Diversey. Diversey has helped us to carry on this show 4 running seasons. Thank you, Diversey. You mean a lot for this industry. This industry needs a lot of support. And last but not the least, a huge thank you to Team BW Businessworld and BW Hotelier, who helped me churn out 2 shows a day, 4 shows a week, and this entire season. It's not easy to pull out these general managers for this long from their busy 24/7 schedule. I'm delighted to share that the season 4 has opened with some of the strongest viewership numbers we've seen. And I would urge all of you to share this episode widely. This is a conversation the world must hear. Share across groups. If you've not watched it live, share the recording links. Thank you all for joining us. See you at the next week. And before I go away, the Diversey video, and then I thank all my colleagues here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
And my punchline for the show before I sign off: from value to ultra luxury, Sri Lanka isn't just competing with the world, it's quietly redefining it. All right, the underlying word is Sri Lanka is quietly redefining hospitality, luxury. Be there, savor that, sample that. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Let me begin by thanking each one of you. By name, Kamal, thank you so much for being there. All right, you were the first one I discussed this with. And the next one I discussed this with was Keenan. Thank you for encouraging me. I owe you both a lot. And to you, gentlemen, thank you for making this possible. This is the first in the Sri Lankan series, and I will do a lot more. Samrat, thanks a pile. Suresh, I've walked your hotel so many times. I walked the entire length of the golf face, and yours is my turning point. Thank you so much for being there. Thank you for being there, Ajantha. Manesh, thanks a pile. All right. And you made it very crisp, your responses. Piyush, I owe you so much. I cut you and Suresh while you were responding. I love being there. Thank you. Namaste. Ayubovan. God bless you. Do well. And may the Sri Lanka-India partnership grow to each other's benefit and to the benefit of our people. And may your lot improve and your brands do well. God bless you all. Do well. Keep shining. Keep smiling and keep connected. Love you all.